Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade.
Shade in the City.
I'm your girl Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we are here to get into our very late recaps of 90 Day Fiancé. This is episode 14 and 15. Give it a double header, okay? Because I didn't think there was much to give. Maybe Nels will disagree, but I didn't think there was. Okay, if you guys haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button.
Make sure you subscribe.
And let's get into it. And let's get shady. Y'all, so we are here to get into episode 14 of the 90 Day Fiance. This is that not the right one that I have in my notes. Forgive
It's all
me.
fair in love and war.
Thank you, because I had the opposite. I had the other one. All right, and the notes would have been all wrong here. Not too far off, because unfortunately I get Sarper and Shekinah both times. I don't know what I don't know what I did to Jesus. But apparently I got some repenting to do tomorrow. So Shekinah is complimenting Sarper on how well he did for the first time trying to do his stand-up. And she tells him that he could have left Dan out of it and says that, her friends are her chosen family. So she doesn't want them to start disliking Sarper because then that's going to make problems for her. And Sarper says, well, he doesn't see Dan as a part of her friend group because they dated. And I was kind of with Sarper on this. But she kind of tries to say that, he was there to support Sarper. And Sarper tells her that Dan gives off weird energy, which I can completely agree. That she can't understand because she's a woman. And I don't think you had to put it like that, but I do think
I know what he meant by that. Just like as a woman.
No, because I was just going to say I felt it from women that my man has been around. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the energy.
And they don't get it, and we do. So I completely understood what he meant.
Yeah. So Sarper accuses Dan of playing victim, and she kind of tries to explain that he was the victim. So she wants him to have a conversation with Dan, and Sarper isn't interested, and she doesn't like that he's not doing what she asked and thinks that, he has issues with control. So, of course, production is going to set it up. So Sarper is walking into Dan's castle, which that's absolutely, it was nice. It was nice. It was a beautiful home. No shade. It was a LA home, like in the hills. Like I've seen nicer. No shade to Dan. But so Sarper said he's there because she kind of wants him to resolve it, and he wants to as well because he's tired of Dan starting shit with him. Okay. So Dan welcomes him and offers to give him a tour. And Sarper's like, I'm not here for the tour, sir. I'm here to get down to business. So we're here to have a conversation. You're going to put some respect on my name. So then when Sarper tries to get into the conversation, Dan's insisting on showing off his beautiful home. Okay. He clearly wanted to do this for the cameras because Sarper was like, I don't want to be
here for her.
Right. So Sarper finally calls out Dan for the little childish things that he's saying and says that, he basically just wants respect. And Dan tells him that what he did at the comedy show was so Sarper tells him what he did at the comedy show was revenge, and Dan lets him know, well, you did that, what you did on stage shows your jealousy. So while Sarper accuses him of playing victim, he lets him know that he doesn't want Shekinah to have a relationship with him, but she refuses to listen. And I said, I don't even know why you would give him that much tea, but okay. So Dan said, well, I'm the real bad boy, and I've dated all the women in the friend group. Who's bad?
And don't nobody wants you, clearly.
Right. That's why you're still in the friend group.
Exactly.
So, and that's why most of them are still by themselves. So Sarper thinks he just wants, he just wants to be the only male in their friend group and thinks he's triggered by Sarper being around. And he said he doesn't care what Shekinah's friends think at this point. Sarper, so then Dan tries to trigger him and like, oh, they were saying something about, he was like, oh, you gonna show me your bedroom? And oh, and he was like, well, I don't know if you want to go up there because you don't want to know what happened up there, trying to antagonize him. And Sarper said, I believe what Shekinah said, she ain't never slept with you. So I know you trying to irk me, but I'm not gonna let you do that. And Dan said that I don't think your relationship will last. And Sarper wants to whoop his ass, but he knows if he does anything, he could possibly be deported. So he's like, can you just be normal, my dude? Like, just be normal. Like, stop trying to trigger me. Stop. Can you just be normal? And so they agree to crawl a truce. And Dan says he got his good eye on him. And I was like, I'm so over Dan. Just like I'm over this couple. You any thoughts on Sarper and Shekinah?
No.
Okay. Here's another one I ain't got nothing for.
So next up is Stevi and Madhi. They're having their bachelorette party. And she doesn't really know if it's a good idea since this is going to be his first time seeing Claire since the nude stuff. So, especially with this being a burlesque setting. So Maddie's just hoping that the bachelor party is not like it is in the movies, with all the nudity and stuff. And boy, was he in for a rude awakening. So then his friend Saeed got there. And it just got pretty awkward, especially once Claire introduced herself. It didn't help that they didn't know what to expect with this burlesque show. But, Claire was excited about it. And Saeed was up there giving this chick the side eye, like, yeah, something is really going on with them. So apparently, Mahdi told Saeed that he thinks that Stevi and Claire have some type of history. So, he got questions. Now, they've known each other for 3 years and they work together. Do we know what she does?
No, I don't. And did you know that she shout out to Auntie's advice? She has 2 kids. So not only is she's bringing kids into this as well, which I'm glad that she didn't show it because we would have judged it. Because he's not here for her. The fact that he's still willing, and I'm not trying to jump ahead to episode 15, but the fact that he's still willing to go through with this and he know that he ain't into it and she still can't give him a straight answer. I hate to sum this up. But
so then the show begins and they introduce themselves and they said that it's a brothel and Saeed is like, what the hell is going on? Needless to say, Mahdi and Saeed were not comfortable. He said that that he's from a country where you could either be arrested or unalive for not even wearing a hijab. And this is just totally against his upbringing and he doesn't understand why Stevi would even put him in this position. So then he got up to leave while Stevi still stayed inside, which I thought was weird because she basically said, whatever you're comfortable with or uncomfortable with, let me know and, we can go. But that's not how that played out. So he's outside telling production that it's just too much. He's only been here for a month and this type of stuff that, it's just not normal to him. He said this is the biggest culture shock that he's had since he got there. Then she finally gets outside. She tries to put a boa around him and play with him. It aggravated me that he was just like, oh, it's too much. And she was like, what, the feathers? He's not.
Yeah.
Like, what? So then Saeed thought that it was weird for them, to even go to that club, especially after Mahdi expressed his concerns about Stevi being bisexual. He thought it was just stupid. Then Stevi's friend, Adam, said, this is America. That's how they do. That's how they have fun, whatever, and decided that they should just go to a bar. So Mahdi, not wanting to be the party pooper, he decided to just keep quiet and not cause any drama before the wedding. So when they were all sitting down talking, they wanted to know what their wedding plans are. And Saeed said that, you still got 60 days. Why you don't just take your time? So Stevi says she doesn't feel like she's rushing anything. She knows who Mahdi is and she loves him. But she said we could have definitely waited. But there's some details in Mahdi's paperwork that unfortunately caused them to move the date up. And she said that she thinks that when you marry someone, it's a commitment and people can change and, do little weird things, but you learn to live with it. and learn to live with one another because you made a commitment to each other. So basically, he's supposed to accept you even though you're lying about being bisexual. Is that what you're saying? And Madhi,
I thought I was doing, not to interrupt you, but I caught that too, and I was like, that was a weird statement to make, but it's through sickness and in health, through death do us part, through richer and poor, all those vows, right?
yes,
So
if that's something that happened after we got married, don't lie to me about it and then trick me into marrying you and then tell me this is what the situation is.
well, I don't know if they're just really like doing too much for the storyline, but I will say that I do think it's weird that she just won't say it.
So then Mahdi apologized to Claire about his reaction when he found out about the painting. And Saeed was just like, why are you apologizing? Like, does that mean like you're okay with it? So Mahdi says that, you know what, it's solved. He promised her dad that he wouldn't impose his mindset that he grew up with, back on her. And he said he doesn't want to change her as long as it doesn't affect their relationship. And Saeed just feels like he's going to regret this later and that they really need to have a conversation about this. And do.
So let's get to Mark and Mina and her needing to brush that wig. So,
girl, you know that's what they like. That's what they like.
That's what they like. So Mina is excited because her sister Alex is coming to help with wedding planning, and Mina says that it's the longest, I'm sorry, that they've ever been away from each other. So they plan to get Mina fitted for a dress that she bought 2 years ago in early pregnancy. Now, Alex asks her how things are in the U.S., and Mina talks about how Mark lives in a quiet, calm area, and it actually makes her miss the city life. So Alex comments that, you have a picture in your mind. She has a picture of in her mind of them milking cows and churning butter. And I ain't even gonna hold you. So Mina jokes that they're not there yet, but they could be soon. And so she's really concerned that this dress is not going to fit. And when she gets there, the dress fits. It looks absolutely beautiful. And Alex gifts her with some pearls that I thought didn't look as beautiful. I think they were beautiful pearls. I don't think they match with the dress. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to call a thing.
Maybe
and
it was her something old.
Something old, something, I don't know. And if y'all want to put that in the comments, maybe it was her mama's, but I just didn't think it went with the dress. I thought those were beautiful. It was beautiful jewelry, y'all. I'm not taking away from the jewelry. It was with that dress.
Mm-hmm.
It was too much. So then she tells her that she has one more surprise, and this is what I thought would have complemented nicely. She has kind of like a little locket with a picture of their parents who are no longer here with us, and Mina starts to get emotional, and Alex says that Mina used to dream of sharing this moment with her mother and her, and unfortunately she passed away about 2 years ago. So yeah, condolences to Mia. And so they're going back to Mark's house, and Alex is excited while Mina has the look of disgust on her face. Because apparently they've been in Boston, they've been in the city, and now they're going back to that podunk town. As well, I don't want to call it a podunk town. It's not that. It's just not where she want to be. Because it's definitely not podunk. Anywhere when you live on by an airport or it's not podunk. So on their way there, Alex asks Mark why he won't move to Boston. And Mark says that he's always dreamed of living at the airport. And Mina said, well, it makes her life more complicated. And so Alex mentions that Mina doesn't seem happy. And Mark tells her respectfully, he knows that, but they're not moving in 6 months and they have other things to worry about. And so they give Alex a tour of the house, and she mentions that there's a lot of trees, but she is impressed with the plain room. And then as she goes off to bed, Mark decides that to bring out the prenup that they signed because, she's so happy that he's adopting. I hope she's getting some other terms in that maybe it's not our business, but I hope she's getting some other terms outside of that. But yeah, of course we know he's going to adopt Clayton if we can get Clayton over here. I guess that's the cliffhanger. Now let's go on to Matt and Amani.
And
Amani. And Brenda. Don't do that, Brenda.
What?
Brenda came correct. Brenda said,
So she said. So Brenda is pissed. She asking the ex, why are you telling on my business? And he like, well, why the hell they don't even know? Why they don't know your name? And Matt and Amani is like, yeah, why don't we know your name? So the ex is like, they told me that you're supposed to be getting married. And she's like, yeah, and that's my business. Okay, why are you involving yourselves that in things that you shouldn't be? So then, they start arguing back and forth. She said her name is Brenda
Ani.
Ani.
Mm-hmm.
And she
I
wanted
told you, Ani.
protect herself. So and for a minute, she's like, it's starting to make sense because she's like, she's never booked her flight, she's never seen her ID, and then what? Oh, then the water, the fire, the waterworks start, coming from Brenda. She starts crying, and basically, I mean, he's not going for it. She's like, "What are the waterworks for?" Basically, she said that when they return to Ensenada, she thought that they'd be angry if she told them her real name because she's always angry all the time. I said, "Oh, okay, girl. All right,
You
manipulate."
got you one. Uh-huh.
Manipulator. She said, you're angry because of my family and because I don't celebrate Anto. And Amini said that she just wants her to love her and give as much to the relationship as she is. So then, she asked her if she's still married. And she said, and she's like, what? Basically, she said no, she's not still married. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I think she was talking to the ex and was like, what the hell did you tell them? No, I'm not still married. Okay. And he told Amini, maybe I misunderstood. And she said, dude, y'all both speak Spanish. How the hell did you misunderstand? Okay. So now she feeling like he's doing a little switch up. And in the confessional, he said that he knows she's hiding something, but he doesn't know what it is. So she said that they all need to sleep on it. And, next time that they have a conversation, she needs a translator to be there because she doesn't want anything to get lost in translation this time around. I said, I'm going to you better. I'm spending all your little ducats on this lion heifer.
That part.
That told her family, you just a friend. And
Well,
you
the one that left your kids for this heifer. So look at the man in the mirror first. All right. So Greg and Joan, right? Now Greg has put himself on a diet and is off to his new job. Okay. Joan tells him when he gets back home that she's willing to bust it wide open. Bust it wide open.
She said, this is what you get when you get a job, Bookie.
Okay, right? So that's a good woman. That's a good woman, Savannah. So Greg says that he wasn't forced since he hasn't worked. I'm sorry, he hasn't worked since before the vid. And Joan comes to Lucille and she's like, look, I need to get my dress altered. So Joan wants her dress to, show off her curves and she want to be able to see her butt twerking in the joint. You know what I'm saying? And I said, that is so me.
That was so you. You would have twerked in the dress for real though. You would have twerked in the dress.
Oh yeah, because I need to know that on the wedding day that you're gonna see them clappers clapping. Now, my significant other might not want you to see that, but I need to make sure that you see it. I need to give a round of applause. So Lucille agrees, and on the way there, she asks if Joan wants, do you want me to come in with you? And Joan says, nah, I'm gonna be talking to my family. And she was like, I don't want to hurt Lucille's feelings, but I'm not gonna lie to you. So this was hard because I felt Lucille's point and I felt her point.
I was just about to ask you how you felt about that.
I want this moment for me and my mother and my sisters because they can't be here and you're actually going to be here. However, Lucille paying for it. She's been, like I told you, I already thought that little conflict that they had was made up anyway. And it was some production stuff. And I think that they actually like each other. And she doesn't mind. I think that she thinks Joan is good for her son. And I think that so I can understand Lucille's hurt a little bit. And so it was
I think she was a little taken aback, but I think she also understood.
Yeah. And so, but she said, there's always payback. Don't get it twisted. So, but she said, I feel rejected and worthless. So Joan does a Zoom with her family to show them off show off the dress. And, you know, they can't come because there's no visa appointments at I guess, the Ugandan embassy. And so her sisters, they talk about how they love their dress, and they even compliment her on her Ugandan ass. Okay. Because it's all there.
It's all there.
But it's all there. Okay. And she lets them know how hurt she is and that they can't be there. And she starts to get emotional. And it's so funny. So when she started to get emotional, I was sitting there teary-eyed about 10 minutes before when she was talking to her sisters and they weren't crying. And I was like, what is wrong with y'all superhuman people? This is something super emotional moment. And the fact that they was all like remaining strong until the end. And then she started to get teary-eyed. And I said, okay, now
I started to get emotional when the niece started crying. Yeah. She was like, I would want you to be the flower girl or whatever.
That's what it was for me. But just the fact that, and I was like, oh my God. So yeah. So then they try to cheer her up, and they try to cheer each other up on both ends. But literally my notes say it, but it's still sad. It's still sad that I would have liked them to explain a little bit more what's going on, and like with the, like, you know what I mean? They explain to us, and other like couples will explain it. I don't expect production, but like the couples would be like, well, right now or we're not seeing it for America, or our countries are, you know what I mean? Like with the one girl that I love, Avery, the one that I always talk about with her boo, and she was like, I can't go to Israel, or I can't go here because of this is going on in Syria. Syria is where he was at, and where we were at the time. She was like, I can't go there. But they explained to us why, and I just wish they could explain to us a little bit more why them babies can't get a pass. Or
she said they don't have any appointments.
Why? What does that mean? I want somebody. That's what I'm saying. I want somebody to explain it to me. What do you mean we don't have appointments? I'm USA. I don't understand. What do you mean?
I was about to say, girl, that's some American stuff. That's why, because we expect what we expect. But if they shut down the office, I mean, that's just what it is.
I guess so. I get what you're saying. It still feels so bad. And I hate to say it, but as somebody living here now, I get why people see this as like the land of milk and honey. Because we do feel
entitled.
We do feel a sense of entitlement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. Yeah. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Not back to them.
Yes, Alliya.
Shawn and Alliya.
So Shawn is headed to the salon so he can do some hair, while Alliya hops on FaceTime with her mama. And her mom just wants to know, how she doing, how everything was. And she said that she went to visit his family. They treated her very nicely. And her mom was like, and they better had, okay, because if they messing with you, they messing with me, period. Okay. She also let her mom know that she went to the doctor to see what she can do about, getting things to be done to, be more feminine or look more feminine. But she did say that when Shawn was there, it did get a little tense. Her mom lets her know that, you need to communicate and support each other, because it's going to be very hard for Shawn. And I appreciated that she said that, because Alliya, she said that my mom feels like basically if Shawn doesn't know what's going on or he's not in the loop, the relationship might go south, basically. And yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, Shawn is doing his friend and old business partner, Stacy.
He feels like, it feels to me that he's struggling to like her.
To like her?
Like because he likes Douglas. So he likes parts of her when he sees that. And he knows it's the same person, but he's struggling to like this new person, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't fault him for that. Because
I don't either. I'm just calling.
You're not the person I fell in love with.
Right.
And I'm trying to learn to fall in love with this new person.
It's so crazy because we've watched shows like Love is Blind, and I think Aliyah's under the impression that, like, yeah, love is blind. So I'm still the same person if I change my body.
But no, your personality is not even the same anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? you are transitioning into a totally different person. Your personality is Aliyah now. So I I I don't fault him at all, because no, it's not. To me personally, I don't feel like it's just a physical thing. You are becoming a totally different person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Um, so okay, so yeah, he is doing his old business partner's hair. Um, and basically, she said that she adored Aliyah. Now he did tell her that they're dealing with her transition, which is making it hard for her to want to be intimate, because she's not basically feeling attractive, because she doesn't have all the things that she wants done. And she told him that you don't want to push that closeness off, because you need that in a marriage. And she asked him if he thinks that their marriage could survive if she did get gender reassignment surgery. And essentially, he basically said he doesn't know. So she asked him, if you knew
That's a
today,
no.
he said that's a no.
I don't think it, even as he's uncomfortable with, as far as she's went this far.
Hmm. I think he's really just trying to be supportive. He's
No,
really just
and,
trying to be
and, and I
supportive.
think that's sweet, but I think
And I think that he's hoping that he will come around to loving her, since he was in love with Douglas. But they're two different people.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Growth, people, growth. It hurts. It hurts.
mm. So she asked him, if you knew today that she was going to go through with the surgery, would you go through with the marriage? And he said part of him thinks that he could pull the 90-day visa and they could reapply and give themselves some space. And she told him, look, that's the question you got to ask yourself, okay, before you get married. So then him and Aliyah headed to the beach. And she said she's loving this Cali vibe. Okay. She is now California. Yes, girl. I feel you. Until they went in the trunk and pulled out some rollerblades, to go down
That
Vegas.
is so Cali though. Like I was like, I would have loved to do that, even though I hate, like, because I can't fall at this point. I got
No,
my
and
neck,
see, I
my
would have
neck,
wanted to
my
do
back.
what you said. I would have wanted to put my towel out and lay out on the beach. Then after, they had enough of skating and him trying to teach her. Um, they wanted to discuss, the consult she had with the doctor. And she said that she wants to start hormone therapy and facial feminization. He talks about, the facial feminization sounds dangerous, because he knows somebody that got a brow lift and it just didn't turn out right. And she was like, well, that was a long time. That was probably a long time ago. I guess thinking like, they didn't have the stuff that they got now. So she said the hormone therapy, she basically wants to start that immediately. And she's thinking that the facial feminization, she wants to go to different doctors and get their opinions first. So he said his issue is he doesn't want to not be considered, because at the doctor's office, she was talking back and forth, and he's like just finding out about this. She had done all the research about the reassignment surgeries, and um, he wants to know, is there a possibility of that happening? Now, she said it's her process, but it affects him and their relationship. So she's not thinking about it now, but she can't promise that it'll always be that way, and she won't want it in the future. So he said that he wants to be honest, since they're getting married in 2 weeks, and he can't guarantee that their marriage would survive if she did get the gender reassignment surgery. She told him that that's not easy to hear, but right now, they're living in the present. So she also doesn't have an answer for the future. And I appreciated him telling her that. So,
Y'all, we literally are giving you a back to back, and I'm gonna just be honest. It was a lot of same things that I saw from the first one, so I was, I ain't got much to give. I'm giving you the best that I got, baby. All right. So Shekinah and Sarper, all right. So they went to get tattoos. Sophie's giving the blessing. And so Shekinah gets emotional because they've been through a lot together. And so they decide to go share the news with her friends that they're not invited to the wedding, respectfully. Y'all know how I love that word, respectfully. Add it to every email as you're cussing somebody out verbally. Um, So Sarper doesn't really want to greet Dan, and he doesn't really want to be fake. So one of the friends asks, "Well, when y'all get married?" And Sarper says, "Well, we're not having a wedding. We're having a betting." Okay. I said they're gonna Cardi B and offset it, and we see how that went. Her homegirl asked about a prenup, and Sarper says that it's rude to for a woman to ask that in his culture, and so her friend tries to explain that it's to protect Shekinah as well as him, and so Shekinah actually starts considering it, and then Sarper says that, well, if we do that, I want a clause that said if you gain over 128 pounds, that I'll fine you $4,000, which makes her friends absolutely
I thought
horrified.
it was $1,000 per pound or something.
Oh, I thought it was 4,000. He said 4,000, but maybe I'm wrong. So all Shekinah's friends get on Sarper about his comment, and both Shekinah and Sarper try to downplay it. And she's like, "It's okay. I will never gain that much. It's okay, girl. It's okay. I won't ever gain that much weight, so don't worry about it." And I was like, "Bitch, red flag, red flag." Um, and so Sarper then tells them that he has more assets than her, and her friends try to explain that, look, this you're getting married. This is not a business transaction. It's supposed to be out of love. And so Sarper then tells Shekinah he needs a minute from her friends, and he walks off, and he admits he feels her asking him to sign a prenup is disrespectful as hell. And that's all I got for them.
All
Any
right.
thoughts on that?
No, get them off my screen.
Okay. Because I'm over it too.
All right. So
This is somebody that I'm
next up
over because we
is
talking about the same thing we talked about last time. You still
basically.
think that this girl? I'm sorry, I ain't gonna do it for you. Go ahead.
So next up is Amani and Stevie. It's the day before their wedding, and Marty is still in his head. Stevie trying to figure out what's going on, and he finally told her it's been a lot, especially with the thoughts of her being bisexual, and then seeing her enjoy the show didn't help. So she told him that nobody was expecting them to be fully exposed, um, but he said you definitely enjoyed it. It was giving. I'm loving it. Okay.
Mm, not McDonald's.
Yes, McDonald's. Okay. She was giving that Ronald McDonald smile.
Mm.
Um, so she told him that, oh, I'm sorry. So he said that he had to meet up with Saeed, and she's trying to figure out what changed because she said he was super excited to fly in and go to the wedding. And now he's apprehensive about it. And Marty admitted that, you know what, I told him too much. Um, and let her know
I didn't
that,
appreciate that from him.
I mean, it took him
That he
long.
told the truth. That he
It,
was like, no, I did say something because she was blaming Saeed. And no, you knew he didn't get that from nowhere. He don't know you like that.
I think she knew, but I mean,
But him taking accountability and saying, yeah,
he could have did it a lot sooner because Saeed was getting in that ass.
okay.
Okay. And he said that he did let him know about the painting. So of course, you know, she's pissed off. And he said that he just wanted to be able to be super honest with, you know, out feeling judged. And she feels like she's been super honest. Child, bye. He had to beat you down and get some type of answer from you. He said he really can't tell her anything without her getting mad. And in the confessional, he said that he's feeling like he definitely made a mistake rushing. And he's thinking about everyone that told him that 90 days is not enough to get to know somebody. So then Madi went to go meet up with Saeed, and they start chopping it up about the night before. He said before coming there, he was like, you know what? I'm not narrow minded, you know, I can adjust to things. But now he's realizing that some things he's just never going to be okay with. And he said that the problem that they have is he
Is
thinks,
he don't know if she like twat.
um, he said the problems that they have, he feels like that he can fix it after the wedding. He said that Saeed said that it doesn't make any sense. Like what he's saying doesn't make any sense, and um, he was like, "You really want to wait till after the wedding to resolve it?" And asked him if he feels like Stevie is in fact bisexual or is it resolved. He told him that they're not on the same page, and he feels like she's keeping secrets from him. And then they do the recap where she was keeping secrets.
Yeah.
And him that maybe he should take some more time to think about it before rushing. And you know what? This man agreed. He said, "You know what we do? You need to have a talk before the wedding." So he was being super quiet on the way up to the bed and breakfast. But when they got there, um, you know, I don't know, that bed and breakfast was just giving dust mites to me. All of these different colors and old furniture. It looked just nasty.
Not dust mites,
It was,
not you besmirchifying the bed and
it looked like
breakfast.
if you sat down on something, just dust was just gonna fly up.
He said,
Um,
"I love how everything is so real."
I don't know what that means. Um, I get dust mites are real too, though. So when they got back to the room,
I'm about to go Google dust mites.
when they got back to the room, he explained that before he got there, they used to have conversations over the phone, and it wasn't always, her getting mad when he expressed himself, and she apologized that he feels that way. And then he had to ask her one final time, "Girl, are you bisexual?" And she gets emotional talking about, she's tired and she doesn't understand what's happening. While he's still waiting on an answer, he's like,
Ma'am, you never answered the question.
and this is the problem that he had before. And now he's feeling like he made a mistake coming there, but it is a little too late because we know he can't go back home.
Well, all right, let's get into
Did you really just look up dust mites?
I did, but they sound like bed bugs. Honestly.
No, they're not like bed bugs, but I mean,
But
they
they
still,
live in the
I
not.
wouldn't be surprised if they had bed bugs too. It just looks nasty.
Oh, I can't. So Amani, Matt, and Ani, Brenda. So Amani tells Matt that she woke up feeling heavy, and they had no idea how to process their meeting with Ray last night. So she says that she's contemplating going back home to her kids, where she should be in the first place. And Ani calls and asks to meet with them so they can talk, and she shows up with an interpreter to try to explain and plead her case. And so she tells them that Ray told them lies and that her full name is Brenda Ani or Eddie or whatever. She didn't
Um,
feel the need to give them their name. She said she didn't feel the name. And I can understand where she's coming from because I'm a stripper. Why am I giving you my real name? That's not you met me in a club. We doing it.
and then you tell them because you're in a relationship with them.
Oh, well, I guess. And so then we also learned that she was married and she was a victim of the A word, and so she had to get a restraining order, and says that she has her divorce papers, but she couldn't claim anything under her name. So because she was married to him, so that's why she used the name Ani. And now Amani starts to feel bad about thinking the worst of her, and Matt thinks it makes sense. He's like, it all makes sense now. And I was like, Matt, you just want to continue to screw two women.
Exactly.
And so Amani apologizes, and Ani tells her that, it's three people in this relationship and not four, basically getting on her about bringing. And then
Well,
she talks about.
you the one that was messing with this dude. Okay, we didn't know him until you brought him into our lives.
So then Amani makes her promise to stay open and vulnerable with them, and talks about wanting to meet her family in Guadalajara, and makes Ani agree that she will tell the family that Amani
Is his girlfriend?
is her girlfriend, which she agrees to it, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think they're playing in our face,
Mm-hmm. All
and,
right.
and so and
Next up,
so are these two.
Shawn and Alliya. Um, so Shawn said with everything going on, and the uncertainty, he needs a prenup sign. So he interrupted homegirl doing her laser hair
Gotta
removal.
sign them papers,
Those papers.
papers.
So he interrupted her doing her laser hair removal to present her with these papers, and she was definitely taken aback. He
I
said
love
that
that she had a laser hair removal at home.
why
I would want one.
you could put yourself through the pain yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they sell them. Um, so yeah, he said that he's been supportive through all her changes and the transition. So this is something that he feels like he needs to protect himself in case the changes get to be too much. And after their conversation at the beach, she's really feeling like he's insecure about their future. He told her that even people, who go into marriages with the best intentions, when, things happen, you know, or when things may come to an end, all sorts of things may happen, and that's how they might try to get back at you. So he told her that there's things in there that also benefit her as well. It's not just about him. And she said, it's hard to be happy and focus on the wedding when Shawn is thinking about the end. I mean, we knew that from the first time we saw y'all on screen. I don't know how you didn't get it. So they're
Right.
about
He's
to
been
end.
thinking about the end since the beginning.
Exactly. So they're about to head to his mom's house, and he said that they're getting everything ready for the wedding, but she still hasn't signed the prenup. And he doesn't want to put any extra pressure on her, but said he needs some paper signs for them to move forward with this wedding. She said that she had her lawyer, who speaks Portuguese, explain everything to her. And it's a lot for her, but she still has some things that she needs to think about. She said getting married is a dream come true for her, and she doesn't want to be, thinking about divorce. She wants to be thinking about, the dress and accessories and, looking cute on her wedding day. So they get to his mom's house, and it is completely decorated in very white and blue for
Does
the wedding.
nobody think about after the wedding day?
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like I just got irritated when she was like, she just wants to focus on her wedding day, and I get it, but like, if she ain't right after, does that matter? Like, fuck your dress and how you look and your accessories if the shit is terrible. Am I wrong in feeling that way?
I don't know what you mean by after the wedding day.
Like, if after shit's not good, like your life, like what? Because
Oh, you don't mean
that's
right
what I'm
after
saying.
the wedding day. You mean moving forward.
Moving forward, that's not good. You're
No,
literally just,
girl, some people really just want the wedding. They just want to get in a dress and be pretty for their day, and that's just what it is,
oh, bless their heart.
you know? Um, and so yeah, the mom decorated for 4th of July. Um, I thought it was cute. I thought it was a nice idea. I thought it was thoughtful. But apparently, they celebrate Independence Day out there as well. So his mom asked what they've been up to, and he basically said, they're getting things taken care of, but said the only thing that might be happening is a party because some things haven't been taken care of to make it more than a party. And Alliya said that he gave me a prenup. She understands it, but she hasn't signed it. And if she doesn't, she knows that it will just be a party and then she got to leave. So she said that she's not okay with just going back to Brazil, but he just sprung this on me and I'm going to take my time. So when
What do you
Alliya
think
left,
about that?
I didn't see nothing wrong with what she said because he did wait like, I mean, and who knows? Maybe this is something he just came up with, but she did just get it. She did just speak with the lawyer about it. I mean, give her some time to sit on it and think. You've been thinking about
Okay.
doing it and presenting it to her. Now she received it. Now she got time. She got to process it too.
Okay.
Um, so when Alliya left to go unpack her things, his mom told him that she completely understands why he's asking for a prenup because she knows how hard he's worked to get in life where he's at. And it is what it is. So basically,
Right.
if she don't sign it, then we ain't getting married. And that's what it is. So
So
private thought.
Greg and Joan have Greg has decided that he's gonna dress up as a cow to celebrate that he has paid the dowry. Okay. Woo! Confetti to Greg.
Mm.
He says that it was about 15K. Did I understand that correctly? Because it was 15 per cow, or maybe did I understand? My man, I ain't good at that's
Oh, I didn't. I don't even remember him saying how much it was.
no, he said how much it was. But
Oh,
he said that he had that in his savings, and because his parents were paying for the wedding, he didn't have. And I said, "Really? Did you?" But okay, I ain't going because you haven't worked since vid. But I ain't going to say nothing. So Joan says that her father set her dowry before he passed, and so she loves that Greg, respected her culture, and so she's probably gonna bust it wide open. But she can't do that yet because um she's getting ready to go to her bachelorette party. And as she's brushing out her afro, which I love how he was like, I love to see it, baby. That turned like he was really into it. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. So apparently his friend Laura is throwing this for her. And so she's just interested to see what they have in store. And even Lucille joins in on the fun and said, you know, she can get over not being invited to the dress fitting. And they hit the strip club and they get Joan a lap dance. And Joan notices that Miss Lucille is enjoying this more than she is. And it was a good
I
old
love
time.
when she said it looks like 2 water balloons.
I would love to go to the strip club with Miss Lucille. I
Look,
said that
Joan was like, I wasn't trying to do too much, but then I saw Miss Lucille enjoying herself. So
that was look, that was my type of bachelorette. The one friend was like, so girl, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna buy you a dance. I'd be like, nah, girl, not at all, not at all. Bring the biggest booty you got in here. All right, now we're moving on to Jessica and Juan.
Jessica and Juan.
They bore me.
Yes. So Juan told his homeboy that he talked to Jessica about the cruise and he might have got himself in some trouble. And he feels the homeboy feels like Jessica needs to put herself in his shoes. And you know, see how he feels as a man who has always worked and provided. Now, of course, Jessica was talking to Megan about the conversation the night prior because that's her go-to.
That's just what she do.
That's just what she do. So Jessica had a conversation. Then Jessica had a conversation with Juan and told him that she would like him to try, you know, to find something there. And it's already hard, you know, for him to be away from them and the baby for a day. Imagine 8 months. And he agrees it is hard for him. But he said if he got to go make some good money, that's just what he got to do. And she basically said that she didn't sign up to be a cruise wife. And if that's what he wants to do, then
I ain't got it to do.
Uh-huh. So since Juan has been complaining that there's not enough Colombian stuff in their wedding, Megan and her boo, Herb, brought over some paper, I guess tissue paper to make some paper flowers. He said he ain't never seen no paper flowers in Colombia in his life. And Jessica said, according to a Google search, I saw different. Okay. Clearly, you ain't been in all of Colombia, sir. All right. So while they're making these flowers, Megan asked him why he brought up the cruise. And he's like, because it's my career. And of course, you know, she got her opinions, sticking her nose where it don't belong. So after they left, Jessica sat down and have a conversation with him and told him that she doesn't want to be a cruise wife and basically told him if that's his choice, then that he wants to make, then basically he will be losing her. And you know, basically he decided that you know he's choosing his family. He said he didn't want to have to make a choice, but it's his family over everything. So, and boy, you better have it.
I did look. Good job. Good job, Juan. Good job, Juan.
Because it was
So
giving
yeah,
fun in the sun and
okay.
making ones.
Okay. Well, y'all, that was episode 15 of the 90-Day Fiancé. I am so happy we are caught up and to a point that because I hate to be behind and these hour and a half long shows. It's not easy to do back to back. So yeah, but happy we're caught up. Please like the video up.
Make sure you comment,
subscribe,
and hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the TikTok, Blue Sky, IG, and the Facebook. And we will catch y'all, next week for another recap of the 90-Day. Yeah, hey. Because it ain't the other way. It ain't before. It's just it's 90-Day. All right, love y'all. Have a good week. Be blessed.
Night.